plus to go. We're on
the Nico ban, fantastic into D+ as well, but there's Sejuani, and that is going to be the priority here for D+.
Yes, T1 can go for like Jace Kai'Sa here if they really want, and then take the Maokai on 3. But we have seen them actually put a higher priority towards the Xayah, which I find weird because I think, you know, historically that matchup has been fine, but with the Poke Kai'Sa build, Xayah just kind of struggles in this situation. I'm not sure I'm too much of a fan, but Yumiusi is definitely a player who's always gone with picks he prefers, gone with habits.
Yep.
So we see that locked in, we see the Kai'Sa taken, and the Rakan as a denial. Still a good lane for Kai'Sa, don't get it wrong, but definitely wanting to deny the Xayah Rakan from the bot lane of T1. And the Maokai, no surprise, comes in. We've seen that pairing so frequently prioritized when it's available.
It's so obvious that the Maokai was coming in, not only because of Maokai Jace, but Owner has really been prioritizing this. They've been first picking it. We saw it be very, very strong in our previous series as well. Possibly something that D+ have overlooked unless they have a bit of a plan of how they're going to deal with it. I imagine top lane and mid lane bans to come through now from T1. But topside does need a little bit of a look as Sejuani pairings are still available.
That's interesting they banned the Yone. I was really thinking they'd probably lean towards top lane bans, but maybe they're thinking there's just too much available because like Jax and Renekton are the two big pairings of Sejuani I wouldn't want to deal with. But we've often seen this from T1, that they don't really prioritize theirs too much in the draft phase. They're happy for them to take rougher matchups. We've seen, you know, like at World Finals last year, letting King have the Aatrox. We saw MSI. When they let Bin have the Gwen, they often let their opponents have a lot of power. And maybe, though, the intention is they take the Renekton themselves on 4. So do D+ ban it themselves in this situation?
Just have to see. And what is the final ban here for D+? Likely another support ban. Could be the Alistar taken away from Keria to deny a little bit more. But Nautilus is up and available as well, and something that he has defaulted to. Instead, they're heading towards the top lane, not allowing Zeus to have his debut champion, and he'll just lock away the Aatrox, feeling pretty good about it, I imagine.
I feel like this is so risky, though. I was thinking they would take the Renekton on 4, but now, I mean, D+ could take the Renekton themselves, but looks like they might go in even more aggressive. Toying with the idea of a Fiora could be devastating in the side lane if they end up picking this up. And obviously something we've seen historically picked into the Aatrox quite a bit, not so much recently.
Used to be an old favorite, of course, as Azir going to be locked away first.
I think Renekton would definitely be the safe pickup for D+ right now. But the Fiora would be pretty cool.
Certainly would be a fun one. I think with the Azir, you want something that you can benefit from in teamfights a little bit more, perhaps. Of course, Azir works into Aatrox quite nicely. You can get rid of him if he's running amok, just killing everyone with massive amounts of AoE damage. And there is the Renekton that we've seen a little bit more consistent into the Aatrox, as that is Janna being hovered, a champion that we have spoken about many times and has never been locked in, and is not going to start now.
Yeah, trying to decide what to take in this situation. You know, Nautilus is available and could be an option. Looking at the Alistar, and they're just going to pick that one up. Very good at playing Bouncer against the likes of the Renekton itself, can obviously trim it away. And I feel like the composition of T1, very hard to push into. You know, it's very hard to move forwards when you have the Bounce House of the Alistar, you have the CC of the Maokai, the Aatrox and the Xayah going close to them is dangerous. So I think T1 should be pretty happy with their draft composition. For D+, I feel like the top and jungle are going to struggle if they don't get ahead quite a bit. Obviously, the Azir is quite a stable pick we've seen in this meta, but really, I feel like this is a game that Death's going to have to carry.
Yep.
I think D+ are wanting to hit the ground running, because I think when it comes to team fights, if T1 get ahead, if they get set up on an objective, set up in the river, you're going to really struggle to push in and contest.
I also feel like this is going to be a big test for the welcome back of Kellen as well, because I think that they'll be relying a lot on this Rakan getting the engages happening, and he has found great flanks in the past. His teamfight positioning, especially on the outset of a teamfight, is often fantastic. It's what we've credited him with a lot, even when he was playing with Doctorm last year, things like this. It has been a skill set of his. We'll see whether Kellen is going to be able to channel some of that moving into this game. But I feel like both of these teams pretty much got exactly what they wanted. I think that there's a clear game plan for both of these squads, and I think they've managed to get it here, and we'll see in game number 2 who's going to have to pivot to deny what they wanted. Who's got the best read on what the most high-value picks are going to be.
Yeah, and it's an interesting approach from D+, banning all those junglers, prioritizing the Sejuani. leaning heavily on that top jungle duo, so expect to see attention there in this game 1.
Exactly. Let's jump onto the Rift here for game number 1, our second playoff series. And that was Khan and Wolf introducing the two teams, leading the fan chants. You can hear both sets of fans feeling like there is a little bit of tension, a little bit of desperation already in this series. It was so difficult coming to a conclusion as far as the predictions are concerned. I think we're going to learn so much here in game number 1 as to who's going to take this.
I feel like it's weird to say, but I don't think there's a bad prediction for this series.
No, I think you can just like
justify anything.
Get your dog to do it. Get your cat to do it. You know, we used to do that.
Did you ask your cats?
Yeah, Dongchol is like the most biased T1 fan ever. Like ever. He's kind of insufferable if you talk to him about it. Thankfully, Bibian is more of a Deft fan, so he doesn't even care which team Deft's on. Like, used to be an EDG fan back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of rivalry there.
Yeah, a lot. As Kellen getting a grand exit from this one. Deft be in trouble, though. He is in the Dragon Pit, and he's going to have to flash at level 1. Gumayusi and Kerry are just trying to keep him here. He's going to take too much damage here before having to flash, and is eventually going to do it. But taking all that damage just for free instead of just using the flash that you knew you were going to have to use was a silly choice, I thought.
Yeah, I think he was trying to mind game it, like, hey, I don't actually need to flash, and then T1 were like, no, you definitely need to flash, and he just ended up getting hit by the Alistair. And again, because he was so late, it means that Deft is just already burnt his potion in lane, already down in health, so a bit of a disadvantage, and we kind of emphasize how Gumayusi and Carrier have really looked for these 2v2s, looked to find power there. Obviously, with the Alistair, going to be waiting a little bit, but level 3 is the big spike when you can combo, follow up with the root from the Blade Caller into the stun, and with no flash for Death, no cleanse either, you could easily be taken out by that combo, so got to be very cautious.
No, absolutely. You can see now, level 2 going to be gained by Gumayusi. Carrier was away from some of the minions here early on, as level 2 is going to be collected here by D+. I think relying a little bit on landing these Gleaming Quills. It was you that actually spoke to me earlier about the fact that Rakan's sustain really has improved. And being able to land those Qs consistently can keep your AD carry safe.
It's like playing Soraka, honestly, where you land in the Q and get sustained. That was one of the things they buffed, you know, when it was the Ashe support meta and all the melee supports just getting bullied out. They added that, and it just makes them so obnoxious. If he hits one Q, all that hard work, all that training you've done has just completely been negated. You can see Death already quite healthy. Obviously, part of it is the sustain you get from the Cole, but also if Kellen keeps landing these Qs, that chunk he took level 1 will just mean nothing.
Yep. And very large minion wave moving towards the turret. So Faker taking a lot of damage here in mid lane as well, as Showmaker takes 2 turret shots. I'm not sure about that one. That seems like it's in the cons column.
Yeah, not the best move, but is having a pretty solid advantage in lane. I do think what's important is we actually saw kind of push in and put a ward on the Krogs and spot owner out, which is really important when we saw that big wave coming in, because I think D+ wanted information. Where is the enemy jungle? Could he be diving right now? We have